Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back from Times Square. It's That Kevin Show and Kevin McCullough. Very honored to have Linda McMahon, former chief administrator for the Small Business Administration in the Trump administration. Did a great job there. And I'm not kidding, Linda. I saw a small business boom across every, blue state, red state, purple states. Business was on fire. In fact, before COVID, it was hard to imagine an economy that could have gotten any better. And I lived through the Reagan revival. I've, since Nixon, I've basically followed every administration carefully. The Reagan impetus and kind of the 23 straight quarters of growth that he had was certainly a record. But if you had allowed Trump policies to stay in place and the deregulation to stay in place, I was convinced that we were going to see a broader, expansive growth of some of that policy directly. But let me ask you, as I did before the break, it's not just the business policy. It's not just the economic policy that impacts the small business owner. It is the entire picture. And there is not an area of American life at this moment that is not in decline under Joe Biden, whether it is economics, whether it is crime, whether it is immigration, whether it is civil liberties and what people are allowed to express and be and do in the marketplace. You're talking about the most regressive and repressive set of policies to be put on our society in quite some time. How is that whole picture impacting what the small business owner is dealing with right now?
Well, I think let's break it down a little bit. I think one of the areas that's impacting the most is the rampant increase in crime. Across the country, from California to New York, where the law enforcement is just not allowed to do their job, where people are arrested and they don't even have to post bail; they're put back on the street. In California and New York, if you don't steal, if you steal $950 or less, I think it's about this. That's in California. It's about the same in New York. And you're not even arrested. It's not even a crime. Now, can you imagine? You referenced that bodega owner or another small business. $1,000. Let's round it up to 1,000. $1,000. Somebody just comes in, takes it off your shelf. That's right out of their bottom line. Where do they get that? Now, if 4 or 5 people come in and do that, that's a lot of money. So not only is their inventory being stolen and they can't afford that, and if they do replace it, who's going to actually pay for that? The consumer. The consumers are going to, they don't want to come in if they are afraid the store is going to be robbed, and you have these gangs.
Or if the $1.25 snack bar now costs $3.80,
and everything is behind locked doors. But not only that, you're a little bit fearful that you might be involved in one of those crimes. You might be in the store and one of those things happens. So it decreases foot traffic, for
right.
retail. So it is this rampant crime spree that is going on across the country. And if you look at big cities like California, like Los Angeles and New York, a lot of them are being done by gangs that are doing repetitive crimes. I think there are about 300 and some gangs in the state of New York that are actually repetitively doing these crimes. And so we have to have the policy has to be that law enforcement can do its job. We have to back our policemen. We have to have prosecutors with spine. We have to have the laws that are going to make these people accountable for, we just have to enforce the laws. A lot of them that are already on the books, and change the ones that have been made that are detrimental to small businesses, because you're killing them. They close their doors. They're afraid to operate. Or even big box stores will tell their employees, don't try to stop any of these people that are coming in. Just let them walk out, with whatever they're stealing. We don't want you to be involved in that. So think about kids who used to get summer jobs or vacation jobs. Their parents don't want them to do that anymore because they're afraid for their safety of going down to some of these stores. So it's having an unbelievable impact, this crime spree across the country. And I've seen it, time after time. And they're afraid. And
I think tied into that is the other issue that people care about, which is the immigration issue, because we've heard and I've seen evidence that, for instance, Venezuela has emptied its jails and allowed many of their criminals to come north. In fact, so much so that some of the Venezuelan gangs are some of the gangs you're talking about that have reconstituted themselves in Boston, in New York, and they are now systematically hitting places that they can stay under the legal limit and basically get away with it. And
Yeah.
what they
What
do
did
with
he-
the inventory, we're not exactly sure, but it's not helping the stores that they took it from.
No, definitely not. They resell it is typically is my understanding. They resell it. Okay, cost of goods is pretty good if you steal it and you don't have to go to jail for it. Whatever markup you put on it, you're ahead of the game.
Linda McMahon, America First Policy Institute, thank you so much for taking some time out with us tonight.
Pleasure.
Stick around for more